Alright, alright. Oh. Alright, everybody. We are going to be ready pretty soon here for the next run. That's going to be Spyro the Dragon, the original, not SRT. It's going to be any percent by Lukademus. So I'm super excited to see this. But yeah, we're going to be ready in just a couple seconds. Alright, so whenever you are ready, Lukademus, you are free to count down and go ahead and start your run.
Okay, I'm gonna start the cutscene.
Okay, rolling.
And countdown's coming up in a
It's
second.
been peaceful.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, start. Alright, this is Spyro 1 any percent. The goal of the game is to get to the end and beat the final boss as quickly as possible. To do that, we have to go through 6 worlds. And each world has a requirement for you to progress farther. The biggest bottleneck of those is probably the 6,000 gem requirement for Dreamweavers. So throughout the run, we're going to be collecting as many convenient gems as possible. The requirement for artisans is dragons, so we also want 10 dragons by the time we leave here. We're actually going to get 1 extra, I believe, because there's another dragon requirement later on. So for now, we're pretty much just going to be rushing through and grabbing as many convenient gems and dragons as possible. You charge in between those and get both rows of boxes at the same time. It's pretty cool. I'll get into the movement tech a little bit later on, but for now, basically, it's just charging everywhere. There's going to be one sort of unintended jump coming up here. Do a little roll there to get that gem. And then we can get up to this spot by using a charge jump. So what happens there is if you jump right after you release a charge, you get to keep some of the momentum from the charge and jump a little bit higher. That's one of the really cool things about this game is that just the way the mechanics flow together and allow you to keep your momentum, it makes for a really smooth gameplay if you practice it and get good at it. So to get all the dragons, we're just going to do one more level in this world. Town Square up here. And that has another skip, kind of similar to what just happened in the SRT run. We're going to go right to the end of the beginning using another charge jump. As we get farther into the game, more of these higher value gems are going to appear, like the yellows here. And basically for like blues, yellows, and things, we're going to pick them up whenever possible. The greens and reds we don't worry about as much, but in order to meet that 6,000 gem requirement, we want to get the rest of the big gems. So each dragon in this game has a set spot that Spyro walks to for the cutscene. And that's the reason we go around that dragon that way. So we touch the dragon closer to the spot that Spyro will end up standing on, and that just saves time from having to wait the cutscene, and we get to control Spyro more, which is faster than letting the game do it. Okay, there what we just did was a wall glide, which if you glide up against a wall at a specific angle, Spyro will actually gain height or retain his height rather than falling down. So that allows us to just cut that long corner. It saves about 10 seconds or so, maybe. Alright, and that's all we need for artisans. We have 11 dragons, and enough gems so far. So pretty cool, we got out of the first world in under 4 minutes. Another technique that we're going to be using through the run is called flame charging, where if you charge directly after using flame, it'll kind of trick the game into thinking you were charging when you either broke a box or killed an enemy. So it'll allow the gem to home into you, which is faster than having to pick it up manually. So we'll try that right here. And then again here. So just another cool example of how the game allows you to string moves together, make your play smoother and faster. The fan chests are a little bit harder to flame charge, but still with those. The requirement for Peacekeepers is 1,200 gems, I think. So since there are more high-value gems in this world, that'll be pretty easy. We'll still be well above that because, again, the 6,000 gem requirement is the main one that we need to worry about. And for stairs, the fastest way to get up usually is just to charge onto them like that. Normally you're supposed to kind of go up that ramp and get over there, but using a charge jump we can do this. The roll kind of comes in handy sometimes on the dragons too, and you want to get to that specific spot. You use it to adjust Spyro's position more accurately. There's a pink gem, those are worth 25. You want to pretty much grab as many of those as possible. For pretty much all the levels, we're going to be using the menu exit. Most of them don't end right next to a vortex, so the ones that do sometimes will exit that way. But usually the menu is just more convenient. Cliffdown has a trick in the beginning I'll be going for. It's pretty precise though, so I don't expect to get it. It's called Mama Proxy. Yeah, basically lets you skip to the end of the level early. Ooh, I missed that, okay. Yeah, this is another skip. Usually you're supposed to get here by gliding from the very end of the level. Basically, that's one of the last areas you get to, but instead you can jump around that way. Okay. Yeah, that one's pretty hard. I don't usually get it. It's usually just kind of a bonus. It doesn't save so much time that it's necessary for the run. Here's another skip we can do. Usually you glide down from kind of the top of the town up there. Instead you can just jump over to the firework, and that'll give us a bunch of gems that we need. If we had gotten the proxy earlier on, then we would have ended in that vortex, but instead we still have to go get the other dragon on the hill. Another technique that comes up a lot is charge gliding. So for basically every glide in the game, I'm going to input charge just before it, and again that helps you carry momentum from the charge into the glide so you can glide farther and faster. So with the combination of like charge jumping, charge gliding, and flame charging, pretty much everything in this game, but every like normal mechanic can be made better. Okay, that's all we need for Clifftown. Now, if you notice, we skipped Sunny Flight in the first world. Generally, that's just the slowest of the flights. We'll do pretty much all the other ones. They don't have any dragons or anything like that, but they do have 300 gems each, which is pretty useful because the play levels are relatively fast, and that's an efficient way to get a lot of gems. Generally, in these, you want to be kind of flying as low as possible, since Spyro gains more speed the lower you are. Another kind of speed strategy for the flights is to flame things at the very end of the flame hitbox, like that, and allows you to turn a little bit earlier so you can cut more corners. So it's pretty cool to kind of double back there and then do a whole like zigzag maneuver here to get all these. $18 on the clock, I would consider that pretty good. Try to do there is called a thief skip. If you jump right before the flame hits the thief, then it kind of skips his animation of like showing Spyro collect the egg. That one's kind of tough though, because sometimes you can run into the water or like bonk on the side, which is what happened. But it still saves time over having to wait through that little cutscene. Alright, Dr. Shank is the first boss level, but we're actually not going to fight the boss. He does give a good number of gems, but his cutscenes are just too slow, so you don't want to have to wait for them. Basically, just come here, get all the high value gems and the one dragon, and we're out. One more level on Peacekeepers Ice Cavern. Probably one of my favorite levels aesthetically. Maybe my favorite. Surprised I didn't hit. For some enemies, we aren't able to flame charge them, just because of the way their gem spawns, and for those we're gonna just jump in the air and grab it instead. So these big marks are an example of that. I do have green sparks right now, so I want to be careful about that. If you get onto no sparks, then he won't be around to collect gems for you anymore, which is really slow. Because then you have to pick them up by actually touching them with Spyro every time. Green gem from the north, but I got the other one behind him, so it kind of evens out. Right here we're going to do something called magic stairs, where basically certain stairs in the game you can just hold charge and jump and make it up pretty easily like that. Oh. Try not to die here. Skip a little segment there because all we wanted is this dragon. Yeah, 1479 is pretty good. I usually aim for like at least 1450 or so. The requirement for dragons later on is in the Peacemaker's homeworld for 50, so we already have half of that. Basically, for the most part, we just get every dragon in all the levels we enter, and then skip a few levels, and that comes out to enough. Magic Crackers is kind of a wild card. There's a lot of tricky cycles and things that make it pretty inconsistent. The requirement for this homeworld is 5 eggs. So there's more egg keeps in this homeworld, so we usually just get most of the eggs here. I might Death Abuse here to get Sparks back. Kind of won't be any fodder for a little while, so I think I'm going to do that. Don't actually have to wait using the extent jump mechanics and things. Alright, here we're just gonna jump straight at this wall, because it doesn't have collision. Got a double flame charge on those chests. And that's all we need here. High Caves is the first level in the run with a supercharge rank. And those appear more throughout the rest of the game, so there's some cool strats involving those. Right in the beginning of this level, we're going to be making a lot of use of the flame charging to get gems from these wizards as fast as possible. Hopefully catch a good cycle at the top. Okay, that should be good. Lots of pink and yellow gems in this room. Alright, here comes the supercharge ramp for the first time. We'll use it twice in this level. You can jump up the stairs. With that one, you actually hit the, I'm gonna try and go around one more time with that other yellow. Nice, okay. Let's keep the supercharge going. I might drop it here. Oh no, alright. Right at the end, that's fine. Generally, the longer you can carry the supercharge and collect gems while doing it, it saves you a lot of time. Use it again here to hit these fireworks chests without taking damage. And jump right onto that green gem so we don't have to wait for Sparks picking it up. So right in the beginning, we're going to try and hit this wizard before he runs away. If you flame him and immediately charge jump after, Spyro will angle his head upwards, which allows you to put the flame up in the air like that. Normally you're not supposed to catch the wizard before he gets to the top. Another long supercharge coming up here. Try to get through these fan chests first. As many of those bosses as we can. And all the way over here. Usually that takes like three supercharges to get all of that. But with the 90% route, we don't need everything. We can just use one to get a lot of it instead. We already have 5 eggs, so we didn't need to get that other thief there. Yeah, leave that dragon for now. If you jump into the portal in a certain way so the camera goes in later than you, then Spyro will go through the portal and have to touch the dragon, and that'll collect him without having to watch his cutscene. I'm not sure if I went far enough to get it there, so we'll see after the level. It's a pretty cool strat. You can go backwards and get all the planes real quickly. And the rest of this level is kind of boring. You just go line in a straight line and get everything else. Another thing to note in the flight levels is that there's a trick called an animation skip at the end. Normally Spyro will fly up into the air and go down the last of your items that you collect. But if you run into the wall right at the end like that, it'll just let you out of the level early. Okay, it didn't get quite far enough through the portal to get the dragon skip. Blowhard's a very cycle-based level, areas like this. The next one's pretty awkward, just because of how the platforming Spyro works. I've always found this part really strange to go through. The cycle's not always the same, so you kind of have to react. So where the platforms are at any point. Sometimes Blowhard can go to the right over there. It's a little less convenient, but this time I just went to the center, so it's really easy to catch. Vortex Runner's favorite balloonist. Peacekeepers is definitely the hardest level, I would say, in terms of enemies, at least. There's a lot of enemies with ranged attacks, like these guys, for example. Just kind of electrocute the whole floor. Grab another spark here just to be safe. Okay, Wild Flame. This level has a bunch of different routes to go through. A bunch of different ways to play the level. Mainly toward the end. A little bit fast, so I'm gonna try and go over here. Alright, perfect. If you're too fast there, then you won't be able to hit that chest every time. Because the flame will be too far back. Do another animation skip on that wall. Oh, where's the whirlwind? Definitely one of the hardest levels coming up next, Misty Bog. And it's a pretty good gem count too, 335. Luckily I have blue sparks, so just chicken and beginning and get gold. These guys you definitely do not want to get eaten by because it costs like 5 seconds. They have a really, really slow animation. The frogs in this level are a really good example of where flame charging comes in handy because you can use the range of the flame to get them before they can attack you. Oops. Accidental 360. pretty hard, but went smoothly there. The worst part of this level is yet to come. Enemies have blue gems, so they're all worth getting. And here it is, probably the hardest room in the game. This guy hit once. That was pretty good. Didn't miss anything. Went pretty fast. Sometimes once you start taking damage in there, you can't stop. You just keep hitting you. It was on that platform before, it actually got despawned by the game when I came out of level. For a couple enemies in the game, they get despawned like that if they're too close to the portal when you're exiting, so I guess the game just doesn't let Spyro, or the designers made it so Spyro can't get hit right when you leave a level. Only you have to follow the thief through a long path to get to the secret area over here. But if you jump onto the supercharged platform like that, and then do a late jump off of it, you can get enough height to make it over here right away. Wait for the thief anyway. There it is. There's a way you can get the thief to teleport over there, but for jump safety, I'm just doing it this way. Let's do a long path through the level, during which he's invincible. But if you hit him early enough like that before he starts moving, then he's actually vulnerable. I'm gonna try another trick here. Nice, okay. Shoutouts to Stonot for that one. You can use that little ramp near the end to make it up to the platform. Usually you have to go around a long way. That's where the red thief takes you. But yeah, again, using the jumping onto the supercharger ramp to get more speed, you can make it up like that. Alright, first thing we're going to do in Metalhead is go into this secret area. Basically just has a lot of gems that are worth taking the time to get. And we also need the key for later. in the Metalhead, you'll get a good cycle like this, which we have a route for, so I know exactly where to go. It'll be the same every time. And for the second phase of the fight too, there's another cycle. In general, the boss levels have a lot more gems than normal levels, so we always go in those. Except for the first one, or Toasty. However, we're getting pretty close to the 6,000 mark, so in Dream Overs we're gonna skip most of the levels. We're basically just gonna do one flight to get past 300 gems, and then the boss level to get everything else we need. We'll jump here. Yeah, the setup will avoid having to go in the whirlwind there, which is a little slower. And for those two guys, normally you're supposed to go all the way to the top of another part of the level to shrink them down, but instead you can jump over them with a charge jump. At this point, we've passed the last dragon requirement in the game, so we don't have to worry about them anymore. All we need is the gems. Alright, basically like last flight of the game. Pretty clean. I tend to choke this level a lot. Not today. Nation skip on the track. Oh no. Interesting death. I'm just gonna play safe and take the low one this time. There's 0 lives, so you have to watch out for that. So based on how many gems you have at this point, you basically count it up to 6,000 and get the rest from Shock. With 755, I have quite a lot. I basically don't really need anything from here. I'm just going to rush to the end. There's one metal chest that has a lot of gems in it, so I'll get that. And then the boss and the ending area near him have a lot of gems as well. I'm going to try and get this key and then get over to the next area in the same cycle. Oh no. Alright, luckily game overs aren't too bad for this game. You just go back into the level right away. this again. Should have just avoided him in the first place because I have enough guns anyway. And that's pretty much the rest of the jumps we need for Dreamweavers. Yeah, 46. Ideally, you have like just over 6,000 there, so you don't waste too much time getting extras. Alright, now Six World, we just have to do 2 levels and then the final boss, so it goes really quickly. No requirement for this one, we basically don't need to pick up anything else, we just rush to the end. You do need to go in the vortexes for these levels though. Otherwise the next dragon head won't open up at the next level. So if you glide onto this guy's TNT barrel right away, that was not right. There we go. It boosts you up like that. You can get on this wall and glide straight to the finish. Now there is a skip to go straight in a nasty Nork here. I'm gonna give it like 3 tries. It's pretty difficult. I'm also very precise jump off here. It's called Twilight Skip. It's pretty well known. Alright, 2 more. Let's see. That was kind of close. Yeah, what you want to do is get high enough so that the dragon head kind of flops you. Okay. Yeah, if you get a high enough flop, you can then glide straight in because at the top of that dragon head's not solid. Trying to go for a wall glide here. That's fine that I took damage twice. So I can get caught over here. This level's pretty quick just to run through, so Twilight Skip's definitely not like a necessity for the run. It's fine to just go through this instead. Alright, and just Misty Bog left. So for this level, normally you have to chase 2 thieves with keys to get up to where Misty Bog is. But you can get the keys early with some precise claims, and this thief will try and trigger to go the wrong way. I went the right way. Either way, you can get him pretty fast by cutting the corners. Okay, time's going to be coming up at the end of this tunnel when I hit him for the second time. And time. Alright, so that was Spyro 1,
Sorry it
80%.
took so long. I kind of forgot about you.
What about Ganasti Ganor?
All right. A really good run.
It's
Congrats.
toast.
So now there's.
So,
Odor
how
again
familiar are
in the
you
Dragon
with
Kingdom?
TH Skip?
Well,
I know you gave it a couple tries there.
Still got some treasure to pick up.
I've basically
What
never
will
practiced
you
it
do
until
next?
recently. I've got it a
I
few
think
times
the
this
sky's
week.
the limit.
It's
Oh,
pretty much it.
awesome.
I don't try and runs or anything unless I'm behind already.
Yeah. Cool. So, before we have a sign off on your run here, do you just want to let people know where they can catch you if you do some streams or anything?
Yep, it's twitch.tv/Lukademus. I usually run Spyro speedruns and Crash 1, OG Crash 1 speedruns.
Oh, OG Crash 1. I didn't know that. That's cool. It's
Yep,
funny
that's
that
my
you
main.
funny that you say that because like when I first came into the community, I basically started Spyro 1, went into Crash 2 or Crash 1 for a little bit. So, yeah. Those are my two favorite out of each of them.
I feel like they kind of complement each other well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. Well, thank you so much for your run. Do you have anything else before you sign off?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, everybody. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll be coming back with an interview with Rubber Ducky Assassin, who's going to be running Spyro 2 Season of Flame All Fireflies here in a few runs. That interview is going to be with 2% Milk, so be excited for that to come up here in just a few moments.